Hello and welcome to my stamp studio. Today is Thursday, June 26th, and tonight I'm doing the Fern Flora class to go. This will be available for purchase, and it will be $45. I'll be putting a link in the video description right after the video. I just have to get my PayPal set up for it, so I can have a little button there for you. So yeah, it'll be one that you can get pretty quickly. I'm just grabbing my, I can't see where my dies went for this. Here it is. Okay. All right, I got everything. Except for my ink. I didn't pull my ink out. All right. I'm just getting going here. So part of this class, when I put the camera down, I'll tell you more about it. When I originally designed it, I used the Dewdrops embellishments, but they went unavailable. And they're not going to be available until July, end of July. So I do have enough to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I thought I had 7. I'll have 6 classes available. So this is a limited class offering. And you'll be getting a different package of embellishments. Very similar. These happen to be retired, but I just happen to have 6 packets that go with the designer series paper just amazingly. And then you'll be getting some Berry Burst ribbon with it. You'll be getting the Moonlight Flora designer series paper and your class packet to do all 4 cards that we're going to be making tonight. So you can just purchase this class outright. Again, I only have 6 available. So if you want it, make sure you get it. This weekend, what's going on this weekend? Well, this weekend I'm going to be working out in the yard, but my July club will be kicking off, and we are going to be using the Waterside Retreat bundle, and that will be available as well. So that's a really cool class. You're going to be making a home decor item in addition to your other cards. So I'm going to flick down my camera, turn my lights on, and we're going to get going tonight. And let me just make sure that I'm live. If you're there, say hi. Let me know that you're there. Facebook likes to know that people are watching. I like to know people are watching too. It really does make me feel like I'm not all there by myself. And share this video, share these with your friends and family, those that may like to craft or just want some evening entertainment. Because, yeah, I always have something, right? So Cooper's in the craft room. Let's see. Oh, hump day lunch break. I am so sorry about that. So I had gotten some new furniture. Here, I'll turn my camera a little bit so you can see. And yeah, I got this new cabinet here. It was a little more effort to put together than I originally planned. And when I got it upstairs and I started like emptying out what was there before and putting the stuff back in, I realized I had a lot of stuff that I didn't really need anymore. So I started purging, and yeah, my entire desk here was filled with stuff. I couldn't even see my desktop. It was about 6 inches tall of stuff. So I couldn't even get to my desktop to do anything last night for hump day. So I do apologize for that. I'll try to pop in this weekend with something special since I didn't do a Wednesday hump day lunch break. Maybe I'll do a Saturday break. I don't know. We'll see. I do really need to get out to my yard and finish some of my flower gardens. And just, I need to get some marigolds planted in my garden because I've been having little critters come and visit my garden. I don't know about you all, but yeah, those darn rabbits, they keep going in my garden, and they're so cute though. They're little babies. They're about this big. But they keep going in my garden and eating my peppers. I want my peppers. So I got to do something to get them out. And also my green beans started growing. So I got to make sure it's growing up on the trellis like it should. So I'll be working in the stamp room on Friday night. And then Saturday I'm going to be outside until it gets too hot. Weather is supposed to be insane here starting next week. I don't know if that means starting the weekend or not. But it's supposed to be insanely hot. Like over 90 every day. And humid. So, you know, well, that's great for the hair, right? It'll be a naturally curly day. And sorry, someone just popped a little message to me that I just couldn't answer and read fast enough. I forgot to put my do not disturb on, so we may get some things popping in, but at least I'm not on call this week. Woohoo! So I don't have to worry about that stress. And yes, organizing does open a can of worms. However, I feel really good that I've been putting off organizing my stuff, getting rid of my stash, and really getting it planned out. Because I was like, oh, I don't know what I want. Oh, I don't know how to store this. Oh, I've been going back and forth, being really wishy-washy. I made decisions. I ordered furniture, and I'm going with it. Because I got the furniture to what I really need it to be, what I need to have in there. So the stuff that doesn't fit, it's going. I'm going to be having a BOGO event in July. So what is BOGO? Buy one, get one. So you buy something in my online store and you pick out from my stash and I'll send that to you. So yeah, we're going to have a Christmas in July BOGO. I'm going to be featuring a lot of my Christmas retired bundles. So what else? Oh, Christmas in July craft along I'm going to be working on and getting that set up and available. It's going to be featuring July online exclusives for Christmas. So don't miss out on that. Order your kit early so I can get it for you before, things go out. Because things really, within 2 weeks, a lot of times, things go out of stock. So that's kind of what happened with tonight's class. Some of the stuff that I needed went out of stock. So as we go, I'm going to just kind of be replacing things. So I apologize. It shouldn't be too bad. I think I've got most of it handled and addressed. So let me move this out of the way because I haven't found a home for those yet. And, oh, I do have 7. Okay, good. All right, let me make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7, so 7 classes will be available. Okay, let's go ahead and flip this down. And close your eyes if you get dizzy. I'll let you know when to open them. All right, there's my desktop. Let me just get a little light on the subject here. Yeah, part of my reorganizing was so I could get better lighting in here. And earlier this afternoon, the lighting was great, but you can see as the evening goes, not so much. All right. All right, you can open your eyes now. Yeah, I'm just kind of moving a few things around here. I'll get my envelopes out of the way. Open my drawer and put my envelopes where they belong. I kind of like having that, yeah, that niceness put aside there, and it's like having something new. Although, cleaning the craft room, you find some things you'd forgotten you had. Now, I really didn't forget that I had things. I just didn't remember where I put them to use them. So I found a bunch of things I'm so excited about, so I'm going to use them. Woohoo! And some of it's for my personal, my personal pleasure there. I really need to get going on my grandchildren's scrapbook pages. So yeah, the next time it rains, that will be my rain day projects are going to be scrapbook pages. Okay, let's see here. I'm just going to check out really quick my iPad here because I want to see if I can see comments, because a lot of times on my computer I don't see the comments. So, all right, it's at 100%. Just need to wait for my internet connection here. There we go. All right. That's not what I want. All right, and oh, good grief. Well, I don't worry about that. All right. I had to log out of everything, so I'm hoping I can find... Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, I'm swiping and I'm not seeing comments. Why not? Okay. we go. Okay, I'm hoping that this is going to let me see more comments as we go. Okay, maybe not now because I swiped them away. Oh dear, what happened to it? There we go. Okay. So let's cross our fingers that I don't accidentally turn this off and that I can see comments. I do need to get a new iPad. Mine's starting to go. All right. Let's start with our card kits here. So everything will be cut for you that's not part of the Fern and Flora stamp set and dies. You will have to do that yourself. One of the things I'm going to recommend, and when I was prepping for this, I completely forgot to do it, is use adhesive sheets. In my case, I'm not going to be using those today, but they would have really come in handy had I remembered to do it. Also, I'll be using the Fern and Flora 3D embossing folder. I'll do this embossing for you, so you won't have to worry about it. All right. Okay, so our first little kit here. And I'll have these numbered, and they'll be in the same order in the tutorial. So right here, you see that I have my things already die cut. I will be giving you pieces of cardstock for that. So let me I'm going to pull out the pieces right away so I just have them handy so I remember to put them in. So you'll be getting some mossy meadow. You'll be getting a small piece of soft seafoam. I'll be doing this. Oh no, the label is in this. Is in here. So I'll be giving you a small piece of soft seafoam. Again, you'll get a piece of mossy meadow and a piece of peaceful pine. So you'll be getting pieces enough to create your thing. All right. So again, I just did my die cutting ahead of time. Now I'm going to grab. I forgot to grab out my stamp pad, so let me grab that. I'm going to grab my Mossy Meadow ink. All right, for this card. I'm going to need my Berry Burst ribbon, so let's get that open. Ooh, I hate trying to get ribbon open. I am terrible about it. And then when I take my scissors, I end up cutting my ribbon. Anyone else have a good way to do this? Because I sure don't. I thought maybe my Take-A-Pick tool might help me a little bit more, but it does not seem like it's going to. It seems like I'm just going to end up tearing my ribbon. I could never find that silly start of my ribbon. You know, they should make it a little easier. They should have little tabs or something, right? I don't know. Oh, okay. I'm going to have to do my scissors. Okay. Hopefully I can lift it up and cut it and not my ribbon. Like I said, I had done this with other ribbon. I actually used the Peaceful Pine, and that went unavailable. So I'm like, okay, well, got to come up with something else. And I really like the Berry Burst pop of color and the designer paper. So let me show a sampling of the paper here before I actually start. Now, in this class, you'll be getting a half a package of designer series paper. Your pieces will be 12 by 12. So you don't have to worry about having 6 by 6. Yours is going to be 12 by 12. All right, so you have some beautiful florals on one side. And then on the other, you have some really fun patterns, some geometric patterns here in different colors. All right, so you choose what papers you want to use. For this particular one, we're going to be using this. And I need my Stylish Shape die. Now, you will need either Stylish Shape dies or you'll need a punch, you know, whatever you happen to have, because you need to be cutting out a circle. Whoopsie. When I set up my craft room now, I have it so I can just turn my chair and get to everything that I need. Before I was kind of like moving around a bit, but now I can access just about everything. Okay, so I've got my ribbon, and I just need a die here, and get my circle. I'm going to use my largest one here. So if you have a different, you know, circle die, you can use that. It doesn't have to be the stylish shapes, but you're just going to be creating a circle. All right, so let's get that cut out. The other pieces I cut, let's get, let me show you, I used my little label here. I used this particular die on a mossy meadow, and then I used this one here to create that really kind of delicate one with my peaceful pine. I decided to do some of this earlier so I wasn't taking as long. But in my haste to do that, like I said, I forgot to put my adhesive sheets on. So, yeah, well, you know. All right, so let's go ahead and cut our circle here. So most of these dies here, if you have the mini die cut machine, all these will fit in the mini die cut machine. The only thing that wouldn't fit in there is your embossing folder. But hey, you don't have to worry about that because I'm doing that piece for you. So if you have a mini, great one to have. And you can still use the adhesive sheets. So I may actually add some extra things so I can show you how the adhesive sheets work in case you are not familiar with them. Let me just grab them out. Where did I put them? There we go. I actually was able to find all of my adhesive sheet packets. I'm like, wow, I have a lot of them that I opened. I think this will be good enough. Well, let's just see. I've got some other pieces that are smaller pieces here. So these come in 6-inch by 12-inch sheets, and they're marked at like 2-inch segregations there. So they're pretty easy to use. You don't have to necessarily use a whole sheet. That's why mine are cut up so much. All right, but we're going to leave that one sheet out right there. Now I've had my, let's see, I have 2 packages here. And I've probably had them for, oh, well over a year, almost 2 years. So, I mean, they last a while. It really depends on how much you're using it. But I use it when I can remember to use it. All right. So, in addition to this, so you have your Secret C. And let me get that folded there. I'm just going to fold it right in half. You can use your trimmer, the scoring tool, whatever you happen to have handy. And can I tell you, I love being able to turn to my cupboard and grab all the pieces that I need. It's so nice. All right. So we got that. And no, putting these on this adhesive sheet does not work after the fact. Just saying. I know someone's going to ask me that, but no, it's not going to work. Okay. So this is going to be for the inside. So I have my outside piece here. Let's go ahead and adhere it down. And I just grabbed, here we go. I have my handy dandy glue here. Now I do classes at an assisted living, so I always have my little pouches of glue here. So I'm going to go ahead and dive into that. And because it's really warm in my house, you can see the glue is already coming out to play. Of course, I don't think this one's very full. We're going to just store that one upside down. And grab another one. All right. So does anyone have any fun plans for the weekend? I'm just trying to find one that might be partially used. I like to have full ones when I go there so that they don't have to squeeze as hard here. All right. And I'm using a decent amount of glue. I'm, putting it in a thin bead, but I'm using a decent amount because of, like I said before, all the nooks and crannies in these things. You need to make sure that you're cardstock's going to stay adhered to your card base. There's nothing worse than something coming off. You know, you spend all that time making something gorgeous. All right. And let's see here now. I'm going to take my label. Now this label I did cut from our... Okay, ouch, ouch. Oh, that was my elbow. Ow. Okay, I did take my label right from the dies here. And I have that right here. Oops, I have my wrong card showing on my instructions. Now, you will get step-by-step tutorials emailed to you when you get this class. So don't worry, you'll have everything written down. All the measurements will be there, the supplies, the step-by-step instructions. That way, if you want to reproduce these cards over and over, you can. All right. I want... You know, and I actually am going to change it up from what I had in my tutorial. I am not going to use Mossy Meadow. I want to use my Secret Sea. Because, you know what? I love Secret Sea. I really do. I think it's a beautiful color. All right. And we're going to go ahead and stamp. What are my stamp sayings? Because I can't read what's on my paper there. Okay. You're an amazing friend. That's the sentiment I want. Let's take that top layer off and just put it right in there. So you're an amazing friend. Right, that's it. All right, let's get a... Oh, I put it up wrong way. Now, some of you newer to my channel may be wondering, why are you putting your stamp at an angle on your block? It is because I don't stamp straight. So I have found that by putting my, and sorry, I put my head over my project here, by putting my stamp at an angle on my block, I tend to stamp straighter. It's a Beth thing. I can't tell you why, but it works for me. So if you find that you don't stamp straight, or you're spending too much time trying to position something, give this a whirl. It works, I'm telling you. All right. And for grins and giggles, let's see if I can do this after the fact. I was just wondering if I'd be able to. All right, so I'm going to drop this. Now this is the border for that. All right, let's try it. If it doesn't work, well, then I'll stamp it again. I'll stamp it and then die cut it. All right. I'm hoping it worked. There we go. Yay. Now, for all of you at home, I would recommend stamping on your piece of soft seafoam and then doing your die cutting. That way you know that it will be right. That was kind of a... That was kind of a fluke, I want to say, because, yeah, normally I don't stamp that well. All right, so I got that there. And, you know, I still haven't quite figured out a good way to position all my stuff while I'm doing things here. So, I need to... I've got some extra things on my table that I should have cleared off beforehand. I didn't. All right, I've got extra paper here that I'm going to need. So I'm going to have this out, and that, okay. We're going to put those cases away. My dies there. We'll put my embellishment here. We'll put all these embellishments away. We don't need to see those on my desk, do we? And they're right in my cabinet right next to me. So excited. It's the little things that float my boat. Okay. So, we've got our circle. We've got our sentiment. And we've got our pieces of fern here. I'll put right here and here. And you know, I really feel like I need a pop of my berry. So, in your kit, I'm just going to have a large piece of berry. So you can use it for whatever things you want. It's just going to be an extra piece in there. So because there's one card that you are going to die cut all sorts of little pieces out, but I mean really it's more, I didn't want to put little tiny pieces in, so I'm putting one big piece. It's just easier. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stamp my butterfly because I want to die cut out my butterfly. So let's just go ahead here. And we've got 2 different butterflies, so you choose which butterfly you want. So here are the 2 different butterflies. I like this one. I think it's cute. So we're going to use that butterfly. So here it is. There's my die. Let's get a small block. Grab the butterfly. Doop. And I'm going to grab my Secret C again. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp 3 of these. So I'm going to stamp them this way. 1, 2, and you know what? Because we have the other butterfly, let's stamp one of those too. Because we're going to sprinkle those butterflies right on our card. And here it is, 3. Let's go that way with that. All right. So now I'm just going to take my scissors here. And I've got the 1. And let's get the other one out. 2. All right, and let's get our, I'm going to get the small embossing machine because it fits better on my table here while I'm sitting here with you all. Okay, where's my, all right. All right, here we go. Doop, doop, doop. All right. So in my de-stash project I've been doing, I have found a lot of old retired Stampin' Up! Stamp pads and ink refills and paper. So if you're looking for one of those older colors, let me know. I can tell you what I have. And you can purchase that. It definitely won't be at full cost because it's part, you know, of a package of paper, or half a refill. Most of my refills are pretty full. But just some of the older retired colors. And I don't always have leftover cardstock, but I do have the stamp pads and re-inkers. All right, so I'm gonna put that. I have a little magnet here. I'm gonna put those on there. All right. Okay, so let's take these. We're going to pop our sentiment up here using some dimensionals. So I've got some larger dimensionals. I'm going to grab some mini dimensionals here. These are all kind of large ones. There we go. All right. Now, next time I ask, where are my dimensionals? They're in their little corral. All right, so we'll go ahead and I'm going to put the small dimensionals on my butterflies here. You don't necessarily have to put 2. If you want to curl up your butterfly wings, just put 1 on. I'm not going to do that on this card. All right. And we're going to get the we're going to just put this on with our liquid glue. Just put that right in the center of our card. Just turn it whatever way you like. And give it a nice little press here. Kind of get that glue worked through. All right, now we're going ahead and take our 2 pieces and we're going to put these on over here. Now I haven't decided if I like that on top, or you decide if you like the mossy meadow on top or if you like the peaceful pine. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to use little dabs of glue. Again, this is where you'd want to have your adhesive sheets because it makes it so much easier, especially when you're trying to pick this up. But here's a little trick. So in a space that you didn't put adhesive on, use your, take a pick tool, you can pick that up, you can pick it up, and then you can lay it right here. Or if you have a tweezers, I know a lot of people will use their tweezers for this part. I don't feel like getting my tweezers full of glue. All right, take this one. Now I also usually use my precision tip glue, but I left it uncovered the other day and it kind of clogged up. So I got to take a needle and do a little surgery on it. Gotta get it unplugged. All right. So take this one and just gonna wrap it around that way more. All right, we're gonna use some large dimensionals on our tag. Ooh, I just dropped my, we're gonna put it right down here. I dropped one of the butterflies. There it is. All right. All right, so I think I'm going to put my, let's put my ribbon on first, and then I'll decide where I'm going to put my butterflies. So you're just going to take your ribbon here and just make a little bow. Now, why am I tying it this way? Because the other side is a little darker, and I want my bows, my sides of my bow to be the same color. So that's the reason I'm doing that. All right, there we go. Give it a little tug. And now we'll get some snips that are meant to cut ribbon. All right, here we go. All right. Oh, I almost dropped it in my water. That wouldn't have been very tasty. Okay. And I just need to get my mini glue dots here. There we go. I like using mini glue dots for my ribbon. I find it works so much better. So I just take my ribbon right to my dot and give it a good push. I can pop it off. And let's see, where do I want to put it? Here, here, here. Yeah, we're just going to put it right there. And I need to trim this down a little bit. It got a little frayed. There we go. All right. Now, oh, I was like, where did my butterfly go? It's sticking to me. All right, so we'll put this one over here. We'll put one, I think, up here. And maybe just another one kind of tucked right under there. All right, so now let's get out our embellishments. Now these look familiar. These were when we had the, I think it was last year, but I had gotten a bunch because I was doing a bunch of scrapbooking and I was like, oh, I really want these embellishments, and then I forgot I had them. So, all right, so we're just going to sprinkle some embellishments around here. You can choose whatever colors you want to put on. I'm just going to use this lighter one. I think it just kind of gives it a little extra pop. And I think we'll just put it right there. Okay. So now let's grab the inside here. And let's grab our stamp set. And I'm going to take this right here. And now I'll grab my Mossy Meadow. And I'm just going to put a couple over here. Alright, so now I just got to get something to wipe that up before I put my paper on it. So get my, oh, of course I got my finger in there now, and my finger is green. Hey, I have a green thumb. That's going to work well for me tomorrow when I'm, or Saturday when I'm gardening, right? Green thumb, haha. Oh, I know, you guys pay for the entertainment. Okay. You're an amazing friend. And I like looking at my, I usually have this sitting in front of me so I can see what sentiments are in my case, because I always forget. Plus, I usually have another sentiment set nearby. Okay. You are an amazing friend, and I'm going to stamp "You make the world a better place" in my Secret C. Because amazing friends do make the world a better place, right? Okay. So I'm going to put right down here. I like sometimes doing things a little different. And we're going to take one of the butterflies. No, I had them both. What did I do with them? Did I put it back? I did. And, no, I'm not going to. I was going to stamp the butterfly in Secret C, but I think it'd be too busy. So I'm just going to leave it like that. I may take some of my smaller embellishments. I usually don't put embellishments on the inside of my card, but I kind of feel I want to on this one. So I'm going to use the small ones. We're just going to use the light iridescent ones here. All right, we'll put some adhesive on the back. My adhesive. Again, so nice I have it right there and handy. And then when I'm done with the video, I can put everything away, which I'm not always good at. Especially if I know I'm going to be using that same bundle for something else I'm making the next day. All right, so that is my card. Here is my envelope. Let's go ahead and we'll just stamp a couple little ferns on my envelope. We're going to get it all pretty. And grab my Mossy Meadow. And I really should probably grab a scrap piece of paper so I am not stamping all over. Even though this is easy enough to wipe off. It's just as easy grabbing an old tutorial. So I'm just going to put one. Oh, we'll get that one right next to it because I didn't stamp well on the first one. All right. So just some there. Okay. All right. Easy peasy. One card down. All right. Next card. Let me pick my pieces up here. Put my stamp set right here. All right. Dimensionals right there. And my next card kit. Where did you go? Here it is. All right. So this time, we're going to grab our paper here. And I'm going to grab this pattern here. So this is going to be 4 by 5 1/4. I've got my thick white in here. And then again, I've got a little white rectangle here, and also a label. I'm actually going to be putting in a full sheet of basic white for you to do any stamping on, any die cutting. It'll all be right here. It'll be a full sheet for you, so you'll have extra. All right, so let's go ahead and fold our card base here in half. Let's get our bone folder out. Shoop, shoop. And we're going to use, so I just want to check this side. We're going to be using this piece and just going to decide what other piece. I want some with gold on it, that piece. Oh, you know, even this piece would work really cute too. We're going to use this one. All right. So I'm going to cut this piece down to be 4 by 5 1/4. So when you're cutting your 12 by 12, if you just cut a 4 by 12 inch, you can make, you know, 3 cards. Again, this is just because I have it cut for my I just have this cut so I can grab it quickly and share the different sides with you. So, okay, 4 by 5 1/4. Here we go. Now, this little strip here that I have left, we'll use this on the inside of the card. And actually, we may as well just use this on the inside of the card too. So I'm going to cut this down to be 5 1/4 as well. So let's just turn this around. So this will be 2 inch by 5 1/4. And then you have this little tiny scrap. Do with it what you will. All right, let's go ahead and put this down. All right. And we're going to put this on the front here. Do, 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 do. Just center it on your card front. Like so. All right. Then you will take a piece of your basic white and you're going to die cut out this fern. And then you're going to take a piece of that mossy meadow and die cut this, I don't know, this leafy one. It's not really fern, so that's for the inside. All right, this piece here, sorry, I need this piece to be 2 inches by 5 1/4 as well. So cut your 2 inches. And now you can use this piece for a card front. And I'm going to trim off this side. I wanted a little bit more of that golden glow flower there. So I trim that off. All right. We're going to be putting that right here. All right. Now, oh, I forgot to wrap my ribbon around. Oh, we'll come up with something a little different for our ribbon. All right. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down. Do. And I'm going to the left a little bit. All right, here we go. We're going to take our ribbon here. And I'm going to use about, okay, so that's 4, I'm going to use about 8 inches of ribbon here. All right, so I'm just eyeballing it. All right. Okay, so now I'm just going to fold it in half. And I'm going to adhere it down. And I want these ends. I want this to be here like that. And then these ends will stick out. I'll trim them down after I add my label to it. But for right now, what I can do to add this is I can put a glue dot. So I'm going to put a glue dot right on the inside of here so it kind of keeps that fold down. So let's go ahead. I already creased my ribbon, so we're going to put that there. And, oh, There's another glue dot wanting to come off and play. All right, so I'm just going to fold that down. All right. Okay. Then I'm going to take another couple glue dots here on the back side. Just to hold it down a little better. All right, so I've got two more there. So we'll lay that on the card front, like so. So I'm going right to the edge here. All right. All right, so I'm just going to leave it like that for right now. Again, I'll need to come back and trim it. When I put my label down after I stamp it, it will hold that ribbon better too. But if I feel like, oh, you know, maybe I need one on the end there. I thought I'd put one on there. Let's put one on this very end. Because it want to keep popping up. All right, there we go. Okay. We're going to now just take some pieces. We're going to do this. And we're going to do this. And now this little piece, it's kind of ridiculously small. So grab your larger piece here and cut a little bit bigger piece than this. You're going to be stamping on this. We're going to stamp our, kind of our floral one here. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp that in. Let's see, I'm going to stamp that in Mossy Meadow. All right. I could do brown espresso. I could do black. I'm just going to do Mossy Meadow here. All right. And I'm going to end up die cutting this out, but let's go ahead and color it first. So with this one, I'm going to bring in my Golden Glow blends. Now, if you're not a blends person, use your color pencils. And my Mossy Meadow blend. So I'm using my light Mossy Meadow here. And I'm just going to color in my leaves. Now when I'm doing this, because sometimes these blends can make your ink kind of smear a little bit, so I'm really kind of like dotting. I'm not going back and forth. I'm not going to be blending it. I'm just adding some color to my leaf. So like I said, I'm more dotting than anything. All right, let's see, another little leaf up here. All right, I think I got all the leaves. All right, now let's take our Golden Glow here. Again, I am not going to be blending, so I'm just going to dot in my color. I don't want my Golden Glow to pull that Mossy Meadow ink, so I'm just going to just do it all with this. If you wanted it to do Berry Burst, you could. You could definitely add some. Kind of tie it in with your ribbon there. But I'm okay with the Golden Glow here. All right. So let's get our die cut and die cut that piece out. So grab this. And there's my little die cut machine. Okay. I don't have a whole lot of stories to tell you all today. Hi, Diane. Welcome. It's been a pretty, it's just been a rough couple weeks with family stuff. Nothing's been bad. It's just, you know, changes. sometimes, you know, change isn't always fun. All right. So let's go ahead and get this one started again. Just kind of decide where you want to place your little things. Now, I am going to grab my label here. And I want to get a good idea of where I'm going to put that. Okay, so I'm probably going to put it right about here. So my flower is going to get tucked under there. So it kind of tells me where I want to put my ferns and my floras. Okay, so I'm just going to go like that. So let's go ahead and lift that up. This one is going to be popped up on dimensionals, and these are just going to be glued down. Now, I'm not going to glue it down all the way. I'm going to leave it kind of curled up a little bit. I kind of like that. It gives it more of a 3D look. So I'm just going to strategically place some liquid glue. So I'm just going to do that. And this is, you know, one of the more challenging ones on gluing. So again, I'm just dotting. And I didn't go, like I said, all the way to the end. I just did the bigger areas to dot it in. All right, so I know I wanted it more that way. So I'm just going to press down now. All right. Again with this one. Do. Oh, my fingers are glued together. I feel like I got super glue on my finger. It's not letting go. All right. Get our dimensionals on this one. Oh, come on. I know I just used... There we go. I don't want to start a whole new sheet. I want to use this sheet first. All right. So, I probably should wait to put that one on, but I'm going to put it right here. All right, let's stamp our sentiment. And we'll go ahead and stamp that in our Mossy Meadow. And I'm going to stamp Thankful for You as soon as I find my stamps. Well, that's not Thankful for You. Oh, what did I stamp on the other card? Oh, well. I'm like, I think I stamped the wrong thing. All right, put that back there. Thankful for You. There we go. Let's clean those all off. So I can end up putting them away and be ready to make our next two cards. All right. Let's close this up. Let's bring back in my card. Put some dimensionals on here. So now when I put the dimensionals on, I'm going to just put them on the ends because that flower is right there. So I want to make sure I don't kind of block that flower. And we'll put this right here. All right. Now I can take off and snip off my ends just a little bit. Okay. Alrighty. Let's add some embellishments and we'll be done. Okay, let's see, what embellishments do I want to add? I'm going to add, I think I'll take the light colored ones here. And we'll put one. Okay, I guess it's going right there. I was seeing how it looked and it just stuck. I was going to originally put it right there. All right, so that is this one. Now, if we want to do the inside, so I have thankful for you. And we're going to do just the opposite of what we did before. So we're going to take our You're an Amazing Friend. Grab this one. I think I have almost all my blocks out now. All right. That was not straight. And I am going to do it in Mossy Meadow. And I'll stamp my one of my little ferns in Mossy Meadow too. So I'm just going to put You're an Amazing Friend. And let's get this clean because we need that block. And this time, when I stamp, I'm going to do this just a little bit different. I don't normally do this. So we're going to do something just a tad different. We're going to actually take our larger stamp and we're going to put it across the two sides here. I know, all sorts of different things today. All right, so I've got this one. And instead, I'm just going to open this up. I was going to put that other piece on the inside. I still can, but let's see. I'm going to put this one over here. And I probably should have done that before I put my embellishments on. So I'm going to have to rock it a little bit. Oh, yeah. Well, okay. So if that happens, here's the way you fix it. Take your basic white cardstock. And you just cut that down to be 5 1/4 by 4. And you just put right over the top. So here, we'll stamp this again. Yeah, definitely should have done that before I put my embellishment on. Okay. All right, so we're just going to put that right here. Kind of just make sure I'm pressing everywhere. And I still didn't do it. All right, I need to get my foam mat is what the problem is. I'm trying to stamp on this hard surface, and it doesn't always work well that way. And I've got something all over the front, so we're going to cut another piece. My hands were dirty. So let's just quickly do this. 5 1/4. 5 4. All right. Ink this up again. And that should work much better. Yes, okay. All right, so now let's fix our mistake. And we're just going to take our seal. I'm just waving it because it looks a little wet still. So I just want to make sure it is dry. All right, and we're going to cover this side right here. All right. I still have stuff on the inside on my hands, so I'm getting my card all dirty. All right, so You're an Amazing Friend. And we can kind of continue that over here. Let's bring this over. And I'm just going to ink the top part of my stamp. And we'll just come in this way. Okay. All right, here we go. Card 2. Envelope. Let's stamp our envelope. I'm going to stamp the back this time. And I'm going to get this clean first because I don't want to get ink all over my envelope. I already have it all over my hands. Oh yeah. That's going to be a hot mess. I want a green thumb, not a green index finger. All right. Shoot. I am getting green ink everywhere. I'm a messy stamper tonight. All right, so now I got to figure out how I'm going to do this so it covers my ink splotches. All right. I'm making sure I'm pressing really well so that flap doesn't cause a gap. There we go. Sometimes what you'll have happen is if you don't press it really well, you'll get like a little gap where that is. So just make sure that you're giving a good press. If you have to, just stamp over it again. All right. Let's get this card out of here before I make more of a mess of it. Okay. Okay, let's get this pot clean. Might as well get my hand clean at the same time. Now, I do not know. Oh, I found it. I found my hand sanitizer right where it should be. Oh my gosh. I'm kind of digging being organized here. It's right where I expected it. I'm liking this. Should have done this many moons ago. Okay, I have done it many moons ago. I just make a big mess and have to do it over and over again. All right. Okay. Yeah, I do like adding little pops of color. So, I mean, if you want to do some more of your butterflies on there, you could. Definitely could do that. All right. Let's get our next kit out here. Move this out of my way. I'm going to put some of my tools back here because it's just a little bit of a mess. I'm trying to be better. Because one thing I have found is if I pull everything out, by the time I'm done with the video, I'm like, ugh, I don't feel like putting it all away. So, trying to be much better about it and putting things away as I go. So if it takes a little longer to do the videos, sorry. I have to do it. All right. Everything has a little home in here. All right. Okay. All my stamps are back in place. Let's put some blocks away. And now. Okay. That's that one. We did this card. All right. Next card. All right, this is our Berry Burst. Now, I no longer have this die, so you're going to get a square piece. So we're going to cut this to a square right away, just so you know what it is. And I can use this piece here. So this square is 1, 2, let's go from this side, 2.5 by 2.5. So let's just cut a 2.5 by 2.5 inch square. All right. I can use some of that scrap for my, again, little scrap. I'm not going to be sending the little scrap. You have a, a full sheet here, so you don't have to worry about tiny little pieces. But when I was cutting it, I was like, oh, I want to make sure I put everything in there. Okay. I'm going to show you a little trick to making your own little notepad. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to grab a little 1/8 inch punch here. So you can use a handheld punch or you can use this one. Then you're going to take a pencil, you take a ruler, and you're going to kind of just draw a straight line right here You're going to come back and erase it. But now you know where to center your little holes. So when you look through your punch, you can center your hole. If you wanted to be more specific on where you wanted your holes, draw a little dot in there. Center your dot. Okay, next trick. You're going to take your snips. And we're just going to go ahead and cut right there. Now, if you want to cut a little wedge, you can. I'm not going to, because now I'm just going to flip this over. I don't even have to erase. I can just kind of curl those up a little bit. There you go. And kind of make it look like a little notepad. All right, so that's how you're going to do that. Okay. I've got a little piece of, what do you call that? Golden Glow. And it is actually a half a piece of banner. So I took my banner punch here. And let's do something more fun. I had this leftover scrap. I'm going to put it in there. You'll have a Golden Glow banner, right? Okay. So really, it's just a little trim off of it. So you can either use a piece of your, scrap DSP that you had, or you can just, I'll have a full punch of this. I just trimmed off the end. Okay. Let me move this. And we're going to go ahead and do some stamping here. Sorry, I got a little warm there for a minute. Before we do our stamping, let's get our Designer Series paper back out. And we're going to use this pattern this time. Oh, that was the other half of this one. No. Okay. All right. So on this, we are going to need a piece that is... I need two pieces here. I need this other piece here. So we're going to take our Berry Burst 8.5 by 5.5. We're just going to fold it in half. Okay, grab our bone folder. We're going to take a piece of our Designer Series paper, and again, choose whatever pattern you would like. I like this one just because it has the pink in there. But you can choose whichever one you want. You could even add, if you had a Berry Burst marker, you could even color in those. You could add it by just adding pops of, this one's pretty too right here. Just pops of color using your cardstock. All right, so actually that is kind of pretty. Well, let's just use this one. It's got more color to it. I like that one better. So we're going to cut this piece to be 4 by 5.25. Right. We're going to adhere that to the card front. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and we have another piece that we need is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. So that is this paper here. So, and looking at this, just decide what side of the paper you'd like to use for a future card. I think I'd like to use this side for a future card. So when I flip this over, I know that I'm going to go to my 2 3/4 over here. Okay, so just get that straight. So 2 3/4. Oh, wasn't straight. Okay. So I kind of have this one that I can do some things with. All right. Alright, so we're going to put this kind of at an angle over here. We have our piece that we're going to stamp on here. So we're going to stamp some flowers and some butterflies. Alright, so we've got this larger flower. We've got the smaller flower. And I'm going to do a butterfly. So my butterfly, I'm just grabbing one of my scrap pieces here. I'm going to cut it out and I'm going to pop it up. So this one here, we're going to go ahead and stamp with our tuxedo black. Now, I know we don't have this right now. I'm really hoping Stampin' Up! Brings this back. Many people are not a fan of that black hybrid. It takes a while to get used to. You definitely have to use I feel it has to be inked up again, you know, when you first get it. And I feel you have to always use, you know, one of those, the pen, one of these. Yeah. Whereas tuxedo, I feel, does it really well. And I don't like that it stains my stamps. I know, I'm just a freak about that, but I am. Alright, so we're just going to stamp the two flowers here. Like so. And we're going to grab that little piece, stamp our butterfly. Doesn't matter which butterfly you use. Pick whichever one floats your boat. Alright, so now let's just go ahead and clean these right away. Yeah, I don't feel like I'm in such a rush to get this clean when I'm using my Memento. With the hybrid, I feel like I have to hurry and rush. And let me tell you, the other day, I was trying to do that, and I opened my StazOn, and the whole top came off. So I went to go, you know, put it on my stamp. I dumped over the whole bottle, all over my entire work area. I was not a happy girl. Alright, so I am going to grab my Berry Burst and my Golden Glow here, and we're going to color. So let's go ahead and grab our, I guess this is a moth instead of a butterfly, hey? Alright, so our little moth is going to be Berry Burst. So let's color the lower part of it dark. It's going to be a butterfly, even though it's a moth. And we'll give it a little golden body because that's the color I have. I don't feel like grabbing in another color. Alright, so there we go. So now let's take our flowers and go ahead and color our flowers in. So on this little one over here, this little bud, I'm going to color that one a little darker. And maybe I'll just do a couple of these a little darker. Alright. Come back in with my light. Now, when you first use your blends, using this brush end is really nice to get detail in, but after a while, it's not as pointy. So, okay. That's that one. Let's get our Memento in here. Do our leaves. Now, if I really wanted to blend on this, I could because I use the tuxedo, but I'm not feeling it. Although on this leaf right here, I'm going to bring in my dark. Because I feel like the underneath of my leaf could be dark. Alright, and then I think just some other little areas. No, we're good. We're all good. Oops. Capped it wrong. We'll fix that in a minute. Alright. Put our little leaf in here. Now, if you really wanted to go ahead and, you know, fussy cut these out. I'm not fussy cut. Die cut them out. Oh, hold on. I gotta fix this. That's gonna bother me. If I don't have the right caps on, I'll go and grab it thinking I'm gonna color with a certain color and it won't be that color. So what was I saying? Oh, if you wanted, you could die cut these out and then add them to your card instead of stamping right on that piece. That's up to you. But I just thought, oh, I'm just going to stamp. You know, I love using my die cuts, but sometimes I just enjoy just simply stamping and not having to use a die. But then, you know, I usually end up fussing cutting it out. So I don't know. I don't know if it serves me any purpose for doing that, but sometimes I just try to use my stamps. And I actually meant to color that in Berry Burst. Oops. That's all right. We have Berry Burst there. We have Berry Burst on our little butterfly. I'm not calling it a moth. I'm just going to quickly cut this one out. Just because it's the only item I have here. I'm going to cut off those little antennae. I don't like moths. So we're making it a butterfly. I know, the die would have probably given me the little antennae, but I'm not going to worry about it. It's going to go right there. No one's going to be able to tell the difference anyways. Okay, so now I want to take my little banner. Where did I put it? Here it is. And we have a small little sincere thanks. So we'll grab that. And we'll go ahead and just use Memento Black. So let's see. I'm going to stamp it more towards that banner side. Like that. Because now I'm going to, actually, I want to use a little bit of linen thread. Let's get this adhered on. Let's pop this up on a you know, dimensional. I'm just going to put a middle one. I'm going to curl my little wings up here just with my fingernails. And just like that. If I wanted to be really fancy, I could cut those wings apart. I'm not going to do that though. But there. So it just kind of, I don't know, has a little different look to it. Okay. And I want to put ribbon on here. So let me just get my ribbon. So we're just going to go ahead. And so this has a darker side and a lighter side. You're going to see both sides on it. Unless you know how to tie a bow that it doesn't show. I don't think I'm that talented. Alright, I'm just gonna... I don't know why I did this. I just... Hold please, I'm having technical difficulties here. I don't know what I'm doing here. I felt like, I don't know, I couldn't tie it from that direction. I don't... I don't know. It was getting... Oh, what is my deal? All right. And so I'm just trying to put my ribbon so it's like the same way. So I'm going to twist it a little bit when I'm creating my bow. Okay. Let's try this again. I might need a little bit bigger. Okay, so this side. Okay, tug. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to take this one around. And when I thread it through, I just need to kind of twist it so that my bow will have the same color, pattern, whatever you want to call it, on the other side. Oh, why can't I get this bow done? I need a longer piece, I guess. All right. I'm taking a much longer piece because apparently I'm super bow challenged tonight. Like I couldn't hold my bow in place. Oh, fingers are not working. There we go. Okay. There. Oh, that was a challenge. Well, hello, Barbara. Welcome. We're talking about bow challenges. All right. So, I'm just going to probably leave that there. We'll slide our designer paper there. A little piece here. Oh, piece of fuzz there. Let's get that adhered. Where's my adhesive? There it is. All right. Slide that under. So, and have this. I almost lost my moth here. Okay. So we're just going to curl that up. And I am just going to put that right on because we're going to pop up that butterfly. Humor me. It's a butterfly. All right. Had I realized I wouldn't have stamped a moth. All right, so I got that. And now, I just want to put my sincere thanks there. I was initially going to put a piece of linen thread there, but you know what? I am going to just actually pop it up in dimensionals, and I'm going to add an embellishment right to that end. So, now you can use regular size dimensionals. This is a 1/2 inch wide banner there. Okay, so sincere thanks. Let's bring our embellishments in, and this time I'm going to use the darker ones because they're really pretty. So that one there, and I'm going to add a white one right there. I'm going to add another orange one there. We'll do a small one right here. And then I'm going to do another one. Larger one over here. All right. So there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right. So now, here's our envelope. I don't feel like stamping that envelope. Oh, I suppose we should do the inside though. Okay. All right. Inside. Let's go ahead and just take a piece of our designer series paper. So we had some left over here. I am just going to cut this right in half. It's a 2-inch strip. So I'm going to cut it at 1 inch. Actually, I'm going to even do it smaller. I'm going to do a 3/4 inch strip. And then I'll trim that down to 5 1/4. All right. We're going to put it on our white cardstock here. 2, 2, 2. Now you don't have to worry about cutting that piece. That will be part of your card kit. Don't worry. It'll be there. And, oh, that wasn't 5 1/4. Okay. That was a little smaller. Oopsie. I'll have to change my directions. And you can either turn it this way or you can have it this way. Totally up to you on which way you want your little pattern paper to go. I'm going to go ahead and do it this way. All right. Okay. And you have so much extra that you could actually take this piece and you can put it on your envelope and trim it down. Come on, glue. I left it sitting open, which I know better, so it got clogged. Got that little glue sticker in there. All right. So now when I'm gluing my flap, I like to really make sure that I have thin, thin, thin bead of glue. So I like to kind of spread it out with my tip there. All right, so let's go ahead, put this right on, right up to the edge. Okay, I like to actually fold it over and make sure I'm right up to that edge. And that liquid glue gives you that, you know, momentary action to kind of move it around. All right, now we just take our snips here and cut out our flap. Now here's the fun part. So you're thinking, oh, now I have to get rid of this piece that I've trimmed out. You really actually don't, because if you use like a 3/4 or a 1-inch strip on the inside of a card, there you go. So you can still continue to use those pieces. Don't feel like you can't. All right. You'll have enough leftover designer series paper to, you know, do all the flaps on your projects. So don't think if you don't have to. All right, and then our final project here. Make sure I have all my pieces. All right. So this one I've just, you have a piece of Peaceful Pine cardstock, and it will be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So you'll have an extra full piece of it, so you can do all your die cutting from that. There are some small little, I don't know, they kind of look like bows, but they kind of feel like butterflies. So I'm going to be adding those. I definitely could have added them to any of the other cards, but those are just some of the dies I have. And there should be 3 pieces. I think I lost one. Well, there should have been 3. Okay, I'll make do with 2. So you've got a white here. Now that's die cutting that you will be doing with your Fern and Flora dies. All right, so the white here, 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. Scored it. 4 1/4. Okay. Then we're going to grab a piece of our designer paper. So let's come back over here, grab our designer paper, pick up some of these blocks. All right. And designer series paper. So I've got some extra chunks here. All right. And I'm going to cut this piece to be 4 by 5 1/4. So take whatever piece you like. So let's see. Let's see what kind of piece I want here. Let's look at this side. I kind of like that, but I kind of like this one. This one goes better with that, but this one still works with it too. Let's go ahead and use this one. Again, you have, you know, different designs in your pile, so pick out what a design really attracts you. All right. So again, cut this to 4 by 5 1/4. So 4 inches wide, 5 1/4 inches tall. All right. So we have that there. And I've got something on my desktop here. Hold on. Just some little extra adhesive. Okay. All right. So I've got that there. I've got my basic white here. And this piece is cut to 3 by, what did I cut that at? 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. So it's a little bit smaller, so you can still see your designer series paper there. And we're going to take a blending brush and I'm going to grab, I think this was Golden Glow. That might be a brown. All right. We'll take our Golden Glow ink pad now. Now, if you don't have Golden Glow, you could use your Berry Burst. You could use even your Mossy Meadow. I'm just using Golden Glow. Although, My original card sample has Golden Glow. I'm just debating if I want to use Berry Burst. We'll use gold. I'm just going to stick with Golden Glow. Sorry. Indecisive Beth happening. It happens every once in a while. Sometimes I just can't make up my mind. Again, I always, change up what I do. So, yeah. Because I'm like, sometimes, oh, this would look really good. Okay. So I'm just going to take my blending brush and I'm gently just going to go kind of at an angle from one corner to the other. I can always add back in some more color, but I can't take off the color. All right, so I think that's going to be good enough. Now, if you don't want to do that, you definitely don't have to. All right, so let's get all of our little bits and pieces here. Let's put this piece on. And I'm going to go ahead and pop this one up on dimensionals. So I'm going to do all of my adhering of my ferns and stuff on here before I do that. So here we go. We're going to stamp another little critter here. And I'm going to go ahead and do that in our tuxedo black. This time I'm going to do the butterfly. Alright, just my hubby calling. He's probably calling to see what I'm doing. Although, he should know I'm on. Doing my live. Although I am running late today because I started late. Alright, but this is our last card. Let's get our little butterfly cut out here. And again, I pre-cut all my ferns and everything, so I'll show you which ones I cut out. But it's all in the tutorial that you get with your class. So you can see them all. Again, you can get this whole class kit for $45. It includes a half a pack of designer paper, your ribbon, your embellishment, and the 4 cards that we've made today. Your tutorial is emailed to you, just so you're aware. I don't print those out for you. If I were to print them out, I'd have to charge more for the class, and I don't want to have to do that. All right, so now I'm just going to be laying out my different pieces. So I used almost every single kind of leafy piece in the card kit there. All right, so I'm just going to put them on. Let's go ahead and just put them down. So again, because I didn't use my adhesive sheet, I'm going to have to just dab my glue. I should probably really pull out my silicone mat. That would be useful too. But I actually don't remember where I put it. Like, it's not where I'm expecting it. That I don't have put away. Because it wasn't in the right place to begin with, so when I was putting stuff away, it wasn't where I expected it. So, we'll find it. I'll be cruising around through this weekend, putting other things away. And if it's going to be really hot next week, I will be in my studio quite a bit. Like, because I need to have, the heat with the hot flash, yeah, right? Funny how that works. And why is it that we have to have hot flashes for so long? Just a question. Does anyone know? It should be like, okay, you're done. You can just have a hot flash for a couple months and, okay, all good now. Why do we have to keep having them? What is the purpose? It's not benefiting us in any way. All right, so I'm going to put this one. Sorry, I'm whining. I know. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right there. Throw that right there. All right. I've got my little butterfly. We'll go ahead and pop him up on a dimensional because it's so fun to pop these guys up. I'm not going to curl his leaves up. I'm just going to pop him up. All right, so we'll just put him right here. All right, now I've got a little label. So we're going to go ahead and grab one of our sentiments here. And again, I'm going to stamp my, I'm going to try it again. I'm going to dare myself to do it again. I'm going to stamp this. Again, for all of you at home, I would recommend stamping this first and then doing your other piece. All right, we'll stamp this in Golden Glow, and then I'll come back and stamp my sentiment. Hopefully I can see through this as well as I did last time. Oh, I think I'm a little off. Yeah, I'm a little off. Okay, so here's what you should do. You have that extra piece of white. Stamp your border first, and then come back and do your sentiment. So let's see. You make this world a better place. Let's stamp that one, because that's such a sweet sentiment, right? And we're stamping that in Golden Glow. Okay, we'll die cut that one out really quick. Where are my dies? There they are. Way at the bottom. All right. Where am I? Okay. And so these little tiny butterflies, I don't know that they're butterflies or leaves or exactly what, but that's what they look like. So those I'm just going to sprinkle in around some of my ferns here, just to kind of give myself a little extra pop of color. And then I'll add my embellishments for a little bit more color. Little piece of ribbon. All right, here we go. All right, so we're gonna have that on there. Now I think before I do all my other pieces, let's go ahead and take my ribbon. I am just going to tie a simple knot over here. My ribbon isn't. And again, I want to twist my ribbon so it's the same color. There we go. Trim that down. Let the ribbon know who's boss, what way you want it to go. All right. All right. Slide that down a little bit. We're going to put our... right there. Okay, so I need to move this over just a tad. Slide it up. Just want to kind of center where this is going to go, and now, yep, I'm all set to put it on my card front. All right, so where is my card front? Under everything else. Okay, so here we go here. Just like that. We'll put this up on dimensionals. And I'm putting 3 dimensionals on this time, just because I want to make sure it's sticking to not only the ribbon, but those die cuts. Just to give it a little extra support there. You make the world a better place. And we have these 2 little butterflies here. So I'm going to put one down here. I'm going to put one in here. Maybe right there. And then I will come back with some embellishments. So let's grab my Take a Pick tool. There, we'll just put it right there. And we'll put this one right. Hold it for a moment. Okay, now our embellishments. And I'm going to do a little mix and match of embellishments. I'm going to do some of the green, although I don't know that that green goes with it as much. Well, we could do it. It still will be fine. And we'll do some of the, and we'll do one more green right here. All right. So there we go. That is our final card for today. Let me pull out the 4 cards that we did. So, again, if you want this class, it'll be $45. That includes the shipping. Sent right to you. You got a half a package of designer series paper. You get both a ribbon, an embellishment, and your 4 card pack. All right, so those are our 4 cards. Give me about 15 minutes, and I will have the link. Oh, let me zoom out a little bit here. I will have the link for the PayPal, so you can get this flash class right away. All right. Let's see. I'm just reading some of the comments. Okay, well, have a great weekend. We'll see you later. I'm going to try to pop in this weekend, but we'll see what happens. All right, take care and have an awesome weekend. Love you all, and thank you so much for being here.